Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic.
Well, we just ended week 2 of The Rock's brand new adventure.
You talking about the XFL?
Yes, ma'am. I'm talking about the XFL. Vipers. Vegas Vipers. That's right.
As that dude kept doing.
Vipers. That's
Oh my
right.
God.
He was funny, that guy.
You know what, though? I'm disappointed in The Rock. He didn't show up for the first game. He showed up for the first games in Texas. Why didn't he show up for our first game?
Yeah. And here's the thing. So we became season ticket holders to the XFL. It's 5 games. It's super cheap. And the real advantage is just having the same seat every time. That's the real advantage.
And you picked well.
Yeah, we're on the 50-yard line, guys. Like,
Yeah.
we're up high in the bowl, but the bowl's,
Tiny.
what's it, like 20 rows? I mean, it's not,
What's
the
it like
bowl's
a
not.
9,000 person
Yeah.
stadium maximum?
Yeah. 8,000, I think. Yeah, it's pretty small. But so we get there and we find our seats. And we were kind of like, wow, these are nice seats, right?
After we got attacked by the Westgate Resorts people.
And so, guys, this reminds me, though, that the reason we were at the XFL game was because we were filming a video that day.
The video
That's
for what?
now out on our YouTube channel. It's
Yes,
a brand new YouTube channel adventure for Yogi's podcast network. And it's called, what's it called, babe?
What happens in Vegas?
That's what it's called. What Happens in Vegas. And you can find us at youtube.com/at WHIV. So the at symbol, WHIV. Just think What Happens in Vegas. Take the first letter. You're there.
And if you go there, you will get to see me awkwardly put the largest mozzarella stick I've ever seen in my life in my mouth. Not in the XFL video, but it's there. You got to watch all the videos.
Yeah. And if you follow through the comments, what I've done to help people in their journey is I've suggested the next video they should watch.
Mm-hmm.
And they can either follow that program or pick their own. But
Cool.
my way is more the way we thought of the concept. So anyway, we were there at the game and we're filming that video that day, which is now out on the channel. And so like I was using a GoPro for some of the footage because I wanted to get the nice wide, view of the stadium. And the biggest reason though is what I wanted to head towards, which is the sky was incredible. Like, okay, people, I don't know if you know, but babe, what's one thing that I always comment on and I'm in love with?
Do you know we've actually talked about this on a previous episode one time? But clouds.
Yes. Clouds. I love clouds.
Like weird love. Like when we're sitting in the Dutch Bros drive-thru, this man over here is all like, cloud, look, turtle.
I take pictures of the clouds.
And now you've got me taking pictures of the clouds because I know you freaking like them.
And I came up with an idea of something I'm going to try here. And that is I'm going to find an exact spot.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a picture of the sky from there like every day for like a month. And you want to see the change. And you can turn that into a slideshow video.
You should just make yourself a Twitter account. That's all pictures of clouds. I bet you'd grow followers. Twitter like that is weird.
But can you imagine the weird crap that would come out my way? I don't know.
You'd get
That's
pictures
an
of
interesting-
buttholes, I'm sure.
That's
Like, I mean,
Ouch!
clouds, buttholes. You know what I'm getting at there?
Yeah, I do. I get it. That's why I laugh. So then it's like, okay, we're here and we're early because we're
'Cause we're
responsible.
us.
We want to park and like get inside, and we
'Cause
knew
there was supposed to be a fan fest that was not really fun.
it was basically
Wah, wah.
a merch booth, an information booth,
And a dude giving away
and some
energy
dude
drinks.
giving away energy drinks, which, by the way, I drank yesterday. Was pretty darn good. Wild orange, which was weird because it was kind of bitter, almost lemony tasting, to be
I
honest.
don't think I would like that.
It was
know.
weird, but at least it didn't have that stupid like bubble gum taste that like Monster energy drink has. I can't stand that. It's like once in a while I'll drink it if there's nothing else, but like I don't like that. But anyway, we're getting off path here.
Oh, I had something to say about the energy drinks.
Go ahead, say something about the energy drinks.
There's only 2 types of energy drinks that I've ever liked in my life. Those Jolt Colas that sent people into cardiac arrest, they were delicious.
Yeah.
And that was also in like
Deliciously
2005.
deadly. Yeah.
And those new Starbucks energy drinks that are just freaking phenomenal. Okay, I'm done now. You can move on.
Well, okay. I'm not sure why we talked about that, but all right.
It
No
was in
problem.
my head.
No problem. It's
I
okay.
had
It's
to
right.
say it.
You had to get it out there. It's all right. It's good. It's good. Now it's been put out there, so let's just leave it there to die. Okay? I love yanking your chain. It's really
Oh,
fun.
You broke my
So-
brain function.
So we decided let's go get something to munch on and a drink.
This girl just wanted a beverage and,
And
like 2
usually-
bites of your popcorn.
And usually what we'll do is we'll share like popcorn and a single soda. That's usually what we'll do.
Yeah.
And usually we get like a Coke Zero. So in a sense, we're drinking flavored water. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Right.
But we go down the thing. Oh, well, how about we just have their cheese nachos? Sure, no problem. They're not ready yet. Dude, your gates opened 30 minutes ago. You should have been ready. Like, I understand if you weren't ready the second the door opened, but 30 minutes in, come on, there's something wrong with that. But then we kept walking and like nobody had popcorn. Did you see popcorn there at
No,
all?
there
I
was
did
no
not
popcorn.
see popcorn. And
I saw popcorn makers, but
I think it was a conscious decision because what does popcorn do? Makes a fucking mess.
I don't think that anything they served made less of a mess than the popcorn, though. Just saying.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Because at first I was like, well, why wouldn't there be popcorn? While we were at the game, I was thinking this. And I came up with that whole, well, yeah, I can see popcorn's messy. It's probably more expensive for the cleaning crew to clean. Because I guarantee you, stadium cleaners are likely like movie cleaners. And what they do is they charge based on the products that you're selling to
That
as
place
concessions.
just gets pressure
But I think,
washered with a
well,
hose
I think
and
so
a-
too.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Maybe they do jack the price up a little bit because there's more trash to take away or
Maybe
whatever.
they do.
But let's assume that they do. 'Cause it
Give
would
us
make
our
sense.
popcorn, though.
'Cause it would
It's
make
not
sense.
worth it.
But exactly, because you're going to give me nachos. Well, then I could drop the chips on the floor and crunch them up into
And
little
then
teeny
there's
tiny pieces.
Cheese everywhere.
And cheese stuck to things. Exactly.
Or the douche hat sitting
And
next to
salsa.
us who spilled his michelada everywhere. And
Yeah,
there was fucking
and there's
tomato beer.
fruit everywhere. Yeah.
Ugh.
Mushy fruit. It was crazy. So we ended up finding like one place had a drink and this other place had like, I think I got Dorito chips.
It was better than that. We went to the place and we got the chips. And they didn't have any soda. They only had beer and other alcohol things.
Yeah,
And I'm
with
like,
chips.
this crap
And then
fest
the
of a
other place had soda, no beer, but also no chips.
And their card machine wasn't working.
Yeah. Weird stuff. Like, yeah, and this is on first day. So somebody messed up, whoever was managing concessions, poo on you. Because what I'm getting at here is I'm not going to bag on the XFL for it. And I'm certainly
we're
not going to bag.
on Cashman.
And I'm certainly not going to bag on Vegas for it because, you know,
No.
the Vipers, it's not their fault. They're just a football team.
Right.
I'm going to bag on the owner of the stadium because, and more importantly, I'm going to bag on his concession manager, whoever
Right.
that is, for the stadium, not just like for little each stand,
Dear
but for the whole
concession
stadium.
manager, get
Whoever
it
that
together.
is, like vice president of concessions, let's just call it that so people know what I'm talking about. That person should be fired, man. They were not prepared for that first game.
So then we ended up getting sodas. We bought the chips at the first place, or second place. Then we ended up getting sodas from the final place. And she was like, I had to dig all the way to the bottom of this random blue bin full of ice and sodas because our fridges aren't working.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part.
Of course you did.
Again,
I
back
was
to the
way
concession
more annoyed
manager,
about
though.
the food situation than you were.
But see, I'm trying to be more judicious like this when we see issues, okay? And instead of blaming the big guy, like, oh, it's The Rock's fault because he's the owner of the XFL. Well, yes, in some way, shape, or form, he takes some blame for this.
Well, because he didn't have somebody properly checking on making sure.
But the actual blame comes with the person
right.
who was supposed to manage that aspect, and probably their boss too.
I only blame
those are the two people that are the closest to it.
The first game.
Like I would say, like back when I was a retail manager, we would have a district manager and a regional manager. And I would say that if I was doing something like that, and my district manager obviously would know about it, then the regional manager probably should also lose his job because he should have known that what the district manager was doing was wrong and what the manager was doing wrong. Doesn't matter.
It felt like Target being out of stock of everything in their flyer on Black Friday. Like it's just the
and just shrugging their shoulders
fuck up.
And then shrugging their shoulders.
It's the most colossal fuck up the store could have. And what they did at Cashman was the most colossal fuck up the concessions could have had.
Yeah, the concessions. And you know what's funny? Think about the gate, the security people at the gate. They did not mess around. They were careful. They used actual metal detector where you had to put your phone and anything that was in your pocket in the little basket and it had to go through just like a normal, even at the airport. Not this stupid crap that they do everywhere we go where they hold their fucking hands over their head. And the one time when we were in Fremont Street, it beeped on me and he just waved me through. Never mind. Keep going.
Dude, when you were having your hip problem
and we took the chair through.
I pushed you through the metal detector in the chair and they didn't even look in the bags on the chair.
Yeah.
Like
didn't even say a word.
Bruh.
So it was kind of nice to see that they were doing that.
Security.
Okay, so there we're going to say whoever's in charge of security, that's why you can't just say it was Cashman either, because whoever was in charge of security did an effing great job. Really did. His people were trained. They were ready for the crowds because we did not wait long. No, we did not wait long. And we were probably 40 people back from the front when we first got there.
Do you know what the unfortunate consequence of that is for them from my perspective?
Yes.
My guess is, so this weekend we're going to go to Major League Baseball first and then to the
in
football.
A place that we know is extremely professional.
Right. And we're going to eat there and we're going to drink there because their drinks are refillable and their food is great.
Right.
And we're not going to buy any concessions at Cashman.
Right. And there's a reason for that.
A drink.
And there's a reason for that.
Right.
Because it was shitty.
And the other 3 games after that, my guess is even though we don't have Major League Baseball right beforehand, we're still not going to order from the concessions.
Right. Unless they had popcorn. I would buy popcorn.
You might.
Yeah. Then I'd give it some thought.
Kind of like I said, we might get a drink. But we're not going to go have lunch at the game because their concessions were awful.
Right. And that's the other thing. Ask yourself. There was a hot dog. There were nachos that, quote, weren't ready. What else was there to eat?
Oh, the place we got the chips had a full Hawaiian kind of spread.
Okay, so that's good. That's 3 things that we can name.
And then
so
the
far.
place where we actually got the drinks had burgers and fries and stuff.
So 5 or 6 things total.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
For concessions.
We're spoiled with the Las Vegas ballpark though. They have so many options.
We are.
You think more about the T-Mobile Arena? It has about the same number of options, in my opinion, as Cashman does.
T-Mobile? I don't know about that because there's a lot of specialty things in T-Mobile. Evil Pie has a thing in one of the floors and T-Mobile that you can go to.
So does Roll and Smoke Barbecue
there
and
you
Big
go.
Box
So
Donuts.
See, there you go. That's 3 right there that aren't your normal.
But as far as the normal concessions places, they're
keeping it simple, but
yeah.
they're keeping it simple for a reason. They handle multiple things, concerts and sports, different types of sports,
right.
different types of concerts.
Right.
So The point being, they've picked I hate to put it this way, but basic bitch food.
Right. And then they throw
and
in
they
a
do it as
couple-
well as they can, and then they threw in a couple of specialty things.
But they're like Las Vegas big deal favorite things.
And they're paying for it themselves, not the stadium.
Right.
They're using it as excuse me. They're using it as advertising for their main business.
Right.
And it works because if you can try something at the stadium that's a little bit cheaper than what the restaurant would be, or maybe the same price but bigger portion, give it a try, you like it, well, maybe on date night you're going to that restaurant.
Speaking of things we've tried at the T-Mobile Arena, do you remember that popcorn that you had that you wouldn't eat?
Oh,
or you accidentally ate?
Pickle popcorn.
You know,
oh Lord,
the fact that it's still pickle didn't really float your boat at all.
No.
But the popcorn itself from them was excellent.
The texture and how it was popped.
Yeah, so I would buy popcorn from the Las Vegas Kettle Corn Company.
100%.
Just not dill pickle flavor.
100%. Well, because I mean, I should have, if I had seen the flavor, would have never.
Right, but that. you sent but Mitchell got it. Mitchell in there.
Yeah, and he didn't look at it.
Right.
And that's understandable too, because I wouldn't have thought. I honestly wouldn't have thought. But I honestly would not have thought, oh yeah, pizza, it's pickle flavored. Right. Why would I have thought that?
Right.
So why would he have thought that? I don't blame him at all. Other than the fact
that there was a dancing pickle on the bag. I mean, that was probably the only giveaway. But he just grabbed it and went.
Dancing pickle. Well, I didn't really see the dancing pickle. I opened it up and took a bite and went,
and then I ate like half of it. I did. I ate like half of it.
Well, you like weird chips. I mean, you're the one who's the queen of the ketchup potato chips.
I also really like dill pickle potato chips.
Now, do they have ketchup dill pickle chips?
No, they just have all dressed.
So they either go all in or one at a time. Interesting. Yeah. I suppose because there could be umpteen combinations of.
I bet you ketchup dill pickle would taste like a cheeseburger, kind of like.
I don't disagree with you. And you know what's funny about it? I personally would never, ever, ever eat the pickle by itself.
Have you tried?
And I wouldn't, and I don't. Yes, and I don't like the ketchup by itself. But the idea of the ketchup with the pickle together intrigues me. So I would try that.
Would you accomplish the same goal by putting a pickle chip on top of a ketchup chip and just eating them together?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that you would. No, I've never tried it. It just dawned on me now. Yeah, I think I would.
Well, next time I decide I get.
I mean, I'm open to trying. I'm open to trying stuff.
I'll order us some ketchup chips and some pickle chips.
Well, there's somewhere around here that I know I've seen where you can get it. Maybe it was Amazon. I don't know.
Walmart has all dressed. And it's labeled it like Canada's favorite. It's quite funny.
Right. That's interesting.
But nowhere, the Canadians in the U.S. group, and there's like 80,000 people in there, have never been able to find ketchup chips in the United States.
I could have sworn I'd seen them.
But it might be on Amazon. But they're probably like those Peak Friends cookies I wanted.
Yeah.
Like $45 a
pack. Yeah. That's like the try it once and never do it again kind of thing.
Oh my God. We are off on quite the tangent now. We have more things to tell you about the XFL game.
It's an interesting way to discuss the football game and the craziness that's ensued from the football game.
Let's be real. I'm just a lunatic.
So where were we at? We were talking about how they don't even have popcorn.
We've successfully bashed the concessions enough, I think.
Yeah.
So then we return to our seats.
I think the concessions are now dead. We have killed them. So then we go to our seats.
And we're like casually making fun of the crazy sports fans that are around, making hissing noises and like making snake hands.
Yeah.
And like fist bumping with their snake hands.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. It's the first game. Chill your pill.
Right. Exactly.
Oh my God. Those people were a little weird. And they're season ticket holders also. So they'll be sitting there for the next 4 games.
That's all right.
Yeah.
They were entertaining and they weren't rude.
Right.
Now.
Then there was Vaping Dude,
yeah, who I couldn't figure out it was a man or a woman at first. And not for any obvious reason other than the hairstyle was weird.
He was very shapely from the back.
Yes.
He had an hourglass figure.
He had a nice figure.
It was very
yeah.
I didn't figure it out until I saw his facial hair. And like his face was very masculine. But
are you trying to say that a woman couldn't have facial hair?
Well, she could, but most don't wear it out in public. We like to take care of that,
I don't know. What about the bearded woman from the circus? Just thoughts for you to ponder Just thoughts.
I'm going
for
to tell you
to
something about
ponder.
that later, okay?
Oh, okay. That's good. She's going to tell me something later, so I'll tell you next time we talk. Only if she says it's okay, of course.
Anyway, so there was that dude who, about halfway through the time we stayed at the game, I ended up going and asking the usher if he was allowed to be vaping because he was being unpleasant. And she solved that problem for us.
Yeah, she just enforced the rule, but in a pleasant way, by the way.
Oh, she was super nice.
So, okay, now we're back to the security staff being
A+.
A+. So then you got the on-field staff. They kept that game started right away.
But the referees were trash.
Yeah, that's on the league. The league needs to answer to that because those guys are their employees. And oof, they were horrible. They couldn't figure out the rules. And like, they were not prepared, man. They should have drilled their fucking asses off beforehand so that they knew the rules.
They kept throwing yellow things all over the place for no
and then
good
taking
reason.
them back.
Yeah,
and then taking them back.
But we didn't finish talking about the other fans before you moved on to the field staff like a psychopath.
Well, no, I didn't move on to the field staff. I literally just said, and the field staff was also A+, started that game right on time.
Okay.
Like, didn't waste any time. Like that. I thought that was amazing, especially for the first game. They didn't waste time. They got right into the pregame festivities, the
presentation of the football,
the Air
and
Force,
all
and
there was no Air
cetera.
Force.
Well, what were the guys holding the colors?
Oh, I thought you meant like flying over.
No,
those guys were.
Because I thought they said they were from Nellis.
They are, yeah.
So okay, we just had our wires crossed there.
I was like, they don't do flyovers for XFL games,
but
you know?
you can be in the Air Force and not be in a plane. That does work.
That's highly upsetting that you just said those words.
I know.
All
right?
Air Force people are always in airplanes.
Well, they would hope so, right?
Yes.
So anyway, I thinketh that it was very interesting to see like they were there too, and they played a big integral part of the whole like ceremonial beginning of the game.
Course.
And
they
there
made
was
it very American,
but they made it. What's funny was it wasn't super duper Las Vegas-y. You know how like when you go watch,
the crowd didn't yell "night" during the national anthem.
Right. That was one thing I was going to mention. Thank you for bringing that up. There's this thing they do here,
because the Golden Knights
through the dawn's early night,
and the whole crowd
and everyone
yells
"night," and you're like, okay, it's enough, right?
Highly alarming.
We're not at the Knights game. It's great when you're at the Knights game. You expect it. It's super loud because so many more people do it. But why are we doing it?
But they didn't.
But they didn't. Right.
They did it at the lacrosse game, but not.
And they did it at lacrosse. They've done it at baseball too.
Yeah.
I don't know. The baseball was the first time they did it, and it kind of
freaks you out a little.
And I was like, what the hell? Why'd they scream night? And then it hit me, oh, duh. I know why they scream night.
So
but anyway,
we have to talk about my favorite part now, man.
You now hit your favorite part because before you get to your favorite part, she alluded to the dude next to me who like was drinking this huge can of Michelada, and then spills 2/3 of it on the ground and doesn't say a word to me like, "Excuse me, dude, I'm sorry I spilled." He just kept looking straight ahead, and even when he knew I noticed, he kept looking straight ahead.
But let's be real. We had preconceived notions about the douchebaggery of this couple.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I'm sorry. I messed up the order. I forgot that they came.
Yeah.
And then this happened, and that they weren't already there, and then that happened.
This is probably the most offensive thing that has ever happened to me in public.
Now,
by no fault of my own.
Before you continue, I'm going to say to the crowd that, all two people that listen to us.
Yes.
I am going to say,
love you guys. You're pretty rad.
I'm going to say, we love you, but I don't generally give in to her alarmist tendencies about stuff. Okay. I don't. And she'll tell you this. I'm the one who's usually like, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I'm not going to just agree with you. I'm just going to kind of be like, all right, now I'm keeping an eye on you. Like I don't just give it to you. Well, what I'm trying to get at is I don't stomp you down and go, no, you're wrong. But I also don't just go, yeah, baby, you're right. You're my girl. So I'm going to just say you're right. No, I'm like skeptical. Like, okay, man, prove your shit. And when you do, I give you credit. When you don't, I go, okay, well, glad I didn't trust you.
You're just agreeing with me because I'm completely right.
But then, that's what I'm saying. Like, usually I don't agree. And so I kind of like I'm not sure that I agree or disagree. I'm usually kind of neutral on it. This time I'm with you, like 100% with you.
So this phenomenal human being, and I didn't notice any of this part because I was sitting in my seat watching the game, minding my own business.
That was going on, mind you. It had already been going on for quite a while.
And I paid very good attention to this game.
Yeah, you were trying to learn and you were asking really good questions. Like, I got to say, I'm proud of you for that. Like, super proud of you for that.
Okay. Sometimes when we go to things I don't particularly love, and football is one of those things, I will pay like 5% attention and like 95% attention to other things. Anyway, beside the point. So
I know this. It's why I just thanked you for asking questions. But okay.
I was just giving the people the feedback of why I'm really annoying.
People. remember though, Vipers. It's great.
Alrighty then.
We need a camera in here just to capture the crazy footage. Like put a GoPro over there and capture the crazy footage. And then if there's something good to put out,
like you just snaking at the
microphone, that'd be
Holy
funny.
Toledo. Everybody needs to see that.
I think that'd be funny. But again, go for it.
So I'm sitting there minding my own business, and all of a sudden there are two.
You sure?
Yes.
You weren't butting into anyone else's business.
No.
You sure?
I was behaving my big bad self.
All right, good for you.
Russell would be very proud. He always tells me to behave myself.
You were behaving yourself then. Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sitting
proud
there.
of you.
I'm paying attention to the football. I think I had just asked you one of the questions you thought was so great.
I'm not saying your questions were top notch or anything like that. They happened to be. But what I was addressing was the fact that you were paying enough attention to ask questions.
Right.
Because if you're not going to pay attention, why the hell ask detailed questions? Just sit there and keep your mouth shut,
And make fun of the poofy haired dude.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
That's a very me thing to do. Anyway, and all of a sudden, these like clawed hands are clapping at maximum volume in front of my face.
Yeah.
And
like just out of nowhere.
I had this moment of pure shock before I realized that her man thing, Mr. Michelada, was like standing ready to climb over me to get, like, first off, was there something wrong with tapping me on the shoulder like a fucking human? And then, so then I get up, like, out of pure shock and out of their way before I can even muster a, bitch, did you just do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who? Why?
It was really rude. I mean, and I've seen some rude things. I mean, we've talked about it on the show before. Remember the Golden Corral in Lakewood?
Do you remember the look your motherfucker from McDonald's?
Yeah, Nat. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it all.
Yeah.
And this was just to take the cake, man. I've never seen somebody be that rude because, I've seen people clap their hands in people's face before, but it's usually like third or fourth thing they've tried.
And it's usually on the Cheaters show when they're mad.
Well, or the third or fourth thing they try.
Right.
They've already tried X, Y, Z, A, and B. So now it's going to be clap, clap, clap in your face.
My
See how
guess
I
is
did that?
she probably very softly said, "Excuse me." And I didn't hear her because this is the ear I'm having the issues with.
Not only that, it was loud there. I certainly didn't hear her.
She went from 0 to 100. And I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that she had a 0.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very
I'm
generous.
not agreeing with. See, that's one of those areas where I'm just going to not argue with you. But I'm just going to be like, I'm watching you.
She might not have, but I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that
all right.
She's not a complete douche hat. But to go from 0 to clapping angrily in someone's face, I can't. I was taken aback for like half an hour.
Wow.
I clutched my chest. I might have fainted.
Well, she was just awful. But then there's the guy with the old Las Vegas Outlaws. That's from the very first incarnation of the XFL.
Is that Snake Man?
And
Guy with Snake Man.
Guy with Snake Man. And he has the He Hates Me jersey. And that made a big thing because at the first XFL, they let them put whatever they want on their jerseys.
Well, that's what that was because I saw the jersey with the He Hates Me on the back.
Yeah, and then people were taking
multiple of
them.
them.
People were taking pictures with him with it. And that's what I was getting at. It's like there's people like that who are like super positive, friendly, outgoing. And then there was people like that like spill their drink all over you and clap their hands in your face.
And I have to say, I didn't really, okay, I got to go back a couple seconds.
All right.
When we went to the first lacrosse game and we sat down in the seats that we switched away from, and the lady who was meant to sit next to me sat down, she told me she was so glad I wasn't weird. Because we chatted a little bit through the game, right? And she was glad to not be sitting next to somebody weird with her season tickets.
All right. Yeah, and they were right there next to us.
Like my rolls were rubbing with her rolls underneath the seat. That's how close together we were. Ridiculous. Anyway, I didn't really get why. Like, who buys season tickets to something and then they're like that? Like something that somebody would be alarmed by. And then these lovely people were sitting right next to us at the first game. And if they're season ticket holders, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, well, I can tell you it was kind of frustrating dealing with them because of the just disrespect. You know, that's, to me, you apologize, you know, and if you knock something over, you apologize and you tell somebody, hey man, be careful, your shoes are going to get wet. But no, they don't say a word. And he just like acts like nothing happened. And you know what? The second best thing is to apologize when the person figures it out.
Right.
He didn't do that either.
I mean, you know what I would do in that situation? I would have tapped you on the shoulder, pointed down and went, like, the shit has happened. Don't die.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And I feel like when you give someone enough advance notice, they can pull their feet away and not
get Michelada all over their shoes.
Owned, by Michelada.
Is it Michelada or Michelada?
It's probably Michelada because it's Michelob that makes it, so it must be Michelada. And it was that's for sure. Oof.
I don't. Isn't that like Clamato and beer?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. So the final thing here that I want to talk about is the gameplay. It's not quite stellar yet. It had its bright moments. I honestly feel like this is the best starting group that I've seen. I mean, I've seen all three incarnations now. This is the best starting group. I think they're really good players. But then, unfortunately, a lot of the game turned on the weather.
Right.
They had problems with kickers doing things, and
it was raining, and
that changed field position.
It was snow temperature, man.
And it was super, like, we were already cold, and it wasn't raining yet. It was windy, and it was cold.
Yeah.
And then it was windy, wet, and cold.
And then we went home. And I took a very long
So we got out of there.
You took a very long hot
We got
shower.
the hell out of there when it rained. But now it's like right at halftime.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, though. Most people left. Like, I watched the game on the TV, the rest of the game, and it like was pouring there.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, you know, I'm gonna close this out here. We've gone on a nice rant, but it's been about a while since we've had a rant like this to go on, where we're at least coherent when we're saying what we're saying.
Speak for yourself.
So I just want to close it out to say that I think that The Rock's got something going here, man. He put together an entertaining package. And I mean, here's the thing, unfortunately, Wayne Gretzky, if I were to sit there and have a choice of upping my season tickets again and being asked right now, I'd say no. Sorry. Like, if you told me I had to decide by next game, I'd be like, no.
They were
that's
very
the answer.
expensive.
That's the answer. It was overpriced.
Right.
And it was cramped. I don't like the arena that they're in. It's terrible. It's too close.
The lacrosse itself has been excellent.
The lacrosse has improved. The product is excellent.
Right.
You're not wrong. But with the XFL, the price is great. If they wanted me to re-up now, I would re-up now. I mean, it's been and that's staying in the same damn place. I wouldn't care. And I hated that stadium when we went there for soccer.
But they cleaned it. It no longer smells like rotting onions.
Yeah. Somebody got a good power washing going through there. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that was our experience. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I had a positive experience. I enjoyed myself. And that's even with the crappy weather and the weirdos that were there. I think the good fans, the quality of the product, the security, on-field staff, players, it was entertaining, man, and it was fun and it felt safe.
I'm not going to hold the first game experience against them even a little bit. Because, okay, game 2, we'll know who the season ticket holders were, and who knows, the annoying ones could be gone.
Well, yeah, you're right.
And also...
But I also want to put a caveat there, like a little asterisk. I don't feel it's ever the sports problem that there's an annoying fan.
I'm talking about the overall experience.
All right.
Because annoying fans do ruin the overall experience.
Yes, they can.
Okay. I also think the weather will not likely be like that again.
Right. They can't be held responsible for that.
Right. And we will make changes in case it's going to be like that again to keep ourselves slightly less cold.
Yeah.
And you know what? The concessions, they may pick it up and be perfectly acceptable next time.
Well, right. And you know what, though? If I'm just going to throw this out there since we're going to close out right now. What I would do, and you just tell me if you agree or disagree. Yes, I was going to say, if I was the manager that screwed this up, the way I would save my job is by having a plan for some samples for people. Here's, let me chop up a hot dog into like 6 pieces, and here you go. Here's a sample. Here's a little small thing of our nachos. Have a try. You know why? If you like the food, you're going to be more apt to buy the food and give their service another shot.
Right.
That's the key.
I agree.
Because if you don't give me a taste of the food, then I'm done.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.